right, guys, very special preview show, Power Slap number 17, back-to-back weeks. This time we are live in the flesh from Nashville. Not very often we are here in person, but we're going to be running this back for you. Going to get into the main card. We're going to start out in the welterweight division. Babyface Anthony Blackburn taking on Cole Young. A ton of great storylines here. These two athletes have fought before, fought to a draw, and now they're going to avenge that. That's the only blemish on Anthony Blackburn's resume to this particular point, is that Cole Young fight. I mean, a draw, so you can't really call it a blemish, but it's the only thing that has stood in his way from a perfect record. Going to Saudi Arabia for the second time this year, Power Slap is making a home in the Middle East, and the Saudis seem to love Power Slap, having it back time and time again. So, I mean, what do you see on this card? What's really standing out to you, and what do you make of this main event?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously we have the return of Sheena Bathory, somebody who was in Saudi Arabia early in the year in January when she avenged her, it wasn't a loss, but her knockout to Jackie Cataline. Obviously, it's great to see her back. Robin Wearshuck's another one who's kind of in that region. Last competed at Power Slap 9 in Abu Dhabi last year in October. Of course, Dorian Perez, Zakir Naimanbayev. How exciting is that, right? Number one guy. Is Zakir real? I think Dorian's the guy to test him. Then we have some guys who we've never seen before who have an incredible amount of hype behind them, right? You can help me with this name, but what I would call Zhao. Han Gang, obviously coming from China, bends wrenches, breaks bricks with his hand. Kind of caught the attention of Dana White. I saw in the video that was posted recently. Zhang Wei Li, the former strawweight queen, hoping to be the future flyweight queen, was in attendance. I actually didn't catch that at first. So this guy's gained quite a bit of notoriety. You actually had the chance to talk to him through a translator and get to know a little bit about what he does. We talked to Rada Lavi, I believe it was last week. Gave us a little bit of history into the martial art that he's kind of focusing on. Some nuances between internal, external martial arts, interesting stuff. Of course, we have the debut of Kabiru Adediran coming from Nigeria. That's a big one, right? Another, it's not South Africa. It's actually, kind of the mainland, if you will, Africa. Another Kazakh, right? In our guy Daniyar. There's two Daniyars. I guess that's a common name. So Daniyar, that's going to be facing Kabiru, is a heavyweight. Bigger guy. He's actually been following us for a while, but again, representing Kazakhstan. And then we also have Muhammad, I believe it's Amantayev. He's also representing that region as well. So these guys are lightweights, Zhao and Muhammad. That's exciting. I'm sure Robert Trio will be tuned in and trying to figure out what's going on in his division. Listen, international talent being introduced to your division, I think, is a big deal. And then, of course, the main event, I think Anthony Blackburn would qualify it as a blemish, right? Sure. It's not a win, it's not a loss, but he couldn't get through the guy that night, almost 2.5 years ago at this point, and I think he plans to, from what we saw in his pre-fight, same for Cole, they both plan to, right the wrongs of May 2023, come here October 31st, Halloween in North America.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, Babyface versus Cole Young, guy who's been waiting in the wing for this opportunity to get his chance at a title. It's finally going to come to fruition. And I mean, there's also, some get-right guys that we've seen before, things that didn't go their way. Mirza Abramovich coming back, trying to avenge the loss that he had, in Power Slap the first time in Las Vegas, getting another opportunity against a newcomer, to Power Slap as well. And then, James Seekman. A guy obviously coming off a loss to Pono Pao, trying to get back in the wing column, taking on Luis Robertson, correct? Robinson from Brit Slap. Going to see how the champion in that league fares in Power Slap. We've seen experience obviously play into it. James Seekman is a guy who's been around now, who's came through road to the title, had some opportunities. And this is really the biggest adversity that he's faced up into this point in his career. And so now we're going to see if he's going to kind of get that bounce back after loss from Pono and continue on. And then Jacko Gruwit as well, a guy who was in Saudi Arabia actually at the start of this year, January, supposed to fight. Medicals fell through, didn't get his opportunity to compete on that particular card, but he was able there to go through a walkthrough. Guy who's coming in, who's had the experience of being in Saudi Arabia. We know sometimes we talk about, the travel, the time zone, the differences, the food, the culture, all of that. And, is the moment too big for some of these guys that come from some of these smaller rural areas once those lights hit? This is a guy that's been around for a while, does have experience, competing as well over in South Africa as well under the Punisher League. So Gruwit there is a guy who we're going to see, former champ, come into Power Slap. That's the only super heavyweight match on the card. Going to be taking on Denis Villeneuve. Obviously Denis lost to Hawaiian Hitman. So can he get back? Can he get into the win column for the first time? We're going to find out. There's a lot of question marks that are going to get answered. We're going to get more clarity as this card kind of unfolds. And, in a lot of ways, it's going to continue to push on into 2026, where we see that they're aiming for 12 events. And this is really setting it up. And as you talked about in the weeks past, it's things become more and more common, as you brought to our attention, that we're most likely going to get one title match per card. Will be more the norm, and then getting these secondary filler matches that aren't necessarily, the big names as part of the card, filling in the co-main event, etc. And I mean, this is a perfect opportunity to be able to see this, come to fruition here. With the heavyweights, with Zakir, and then as well, Sheena Bathory versus Robin Werchuk. Robin was victorious the first time up in Power Slap as well. She's definitely no cakewalk. Sheena Bathory, obviously the behemoth that she is, that's come into this sport and continue to, pave the way for the females. In a lot of ways, kept females out of the division. And so seeing Robin kind of, answer that call and ring that bell. And, in the pre-fight interview that I did with Robin, one of the interesting things is that her partner is actually a slap fighter as well. And so I'm not really sure, I guess there's been some relationships in Power Slap, but nothing long term, for a sustainable period of time. She seems to be seeing this partner for the better part of a year now, and going through this of Power Slap together. It's going to be interesting to see how that kind of dynamic plays into effect as well. So, a ton of great storylines, but let's talk about Anthony Babyface Blackburn, Cole Young. Let's break it in. For Cole Young, let's go with the challenger first. What has to go right for him to become victorious?
I think he has to do what nobody else has done, and I think the key here is that he has to hit Anthony Blackburn with something he's never been hit before with. Mm-hmm. Look at Isaiah Rodriguez, who came down from 185 down to 170. We thought his power was starting to mount, and that we would be able to see the accumulation of damage. We actually saw it happen in reverse. Anthony Blackburn's placement and his technique over the course of rounds in that match led to him piling on and getting Isaiah out of there, something that we very rarely see. In fact, we've only ever seen it one other time, and that was against John Davis in their very first fight, which was in what we would call the early days of Power Slap. Cole also has shown an incredible chin, but I think this is a big step up. I think Anthony Blackburn today is miles different from Anthony Blackburn in May of 2023, and I think, respectively, Cole Young is miles different from the Cole Young of May 2023. However, I think their resumes are also very, very different. And that's always a concern when you're taking guys who are at the apex of the sport, their experience and who they've gone up against. So, looking good against Rod Alavi, and this is no disrespect to Rod, of course, we love Rod here, but looking good against Rod Alavi is very different from looking good against Isaiah Rodriguez. And I think that there's something to be said for that level of experience. But I do believe, like you said, Cole's got a chip on his shoulder. He's been through hell over the last year or two, dealing with health issues with his son. Of course, that kind of scary and what that does to a parent. So there's a lot here, man, and I think that makes for a really, really compelling main event. Yeah,
well, I think, what, Cole Young should be studying the tape that Emmanuel Muniz and the game plan that he tried to bring to Anthony Blackburn. Both taller, opponents, longer limbs, guys that are gonna kind of work on that same level and trajectory to be able to take Anthony Blackburn out, which is obviously a huge test. Obviously, his strongest point has always been his chin and his defensive side. It's his offensive that has gotten better match after match here in Power Slap. And then Cole, for Cole, he needs to stay within his own element. He needs to not let the moment get too big. He has to not let the emotion get to him. He's a guy that first strike is going to mean everything. He's either going to get a ton of confidence or Anthony Blackburn is going to break him. I'm not going to say he's going to put him away in round one, but if he's not able to take it in a comfortable way and build that confidence, it's going to be a demise of the accumulation of damage time and time again. And so we're really going to watch that first strike, how much that means. I believe Anthony Blackburn is striking first in that matchup as well. And so it's going to mean a lot to see how that first strike goes down to determine the outcome of how long that this particular match goes. For Anthony Blackburn on the other side, like you said, Anthony Blackburn is a different fighter now than he was back then. He's continued to refine the precision of his strike. I think it's very much underrated, how monumental he's come in his strike, to be able to, like you said, face, the best of the best in the division. And so for Anthony Blackburn, it's going back to business as usual. What's worked for him to get here, is really the game plan of what's going to continue. He's fought the taller strikers. He's, continued to fight the wars. He's gone the distance. He's put in the rounds, things that Cole Young hasn't done. And so will that experience level be the difference that gets them over if this match gets in the championship rounds in the 4th and the 5th round, where you have the accumulation of damage, as this match unfolds? And I mean, we're going to see here a phenomenal event. I think Cole Young is in a great position, great opportunity. And I mean, Anthony Blackburn is Anthony Blackburn. Right now, like outside of Damon DeBell, he's pretty much the next, most dominant champion that we have in Power Slap. So it's going to be one hell of a match.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's had the formula for him yet. I think if I'm Cole Young, I'm looking at these Emmanuel Muniz fights like you alluded to earlier. Those were, I think, both very close. The first more than the second, but obviously, if you're able to sway one judge in one direction just a little bit, you can turn that fight into your favor. And I think that's something that Emmanuel Muniz, looking back, probably wish he would have been able to do. But I think if you're counting on knocking Anthony Blackburn out for the way that you're going to clench this belt, you're setting yourself up for failure, because nobody's figured it out. Nobody's figured out how to put him on his tail. We've seen him do the chicken dance. KO Chris made him do the chicken dance, but he withstood the test of time, and he stays on his feet. This guy, and I think 70% of his game is confidence, and we've seen it from the first Manny fight back in June 2024, Power Slap 8. He beats Manny, doesn't believe that he just beat Manny, is kind of shocked, and ever since then he's just been on a rocket ship, and it's gotten worse and worse and worse for his opponents. Obviously, he does it again to Manny after the weight miss in December, and then he comes back, welcomes Isaiah Rodriguez to the division, and does to him what nobody's ever done to him before. And I think I think a large part of his game is the fact that he believes now more than he ever has before that he can do it.
For sure. Couldn't agree more. In the co-main event, Zakir taking on Dorian Perez. This match, very interesting. I mean, fitting. Zakir wins the coin toss in this one, and he'll be striking first on Dorian Perez. I mean, in a lot of ways, we're going to see Dorian kind of, in some ways, get another opportunity. I mean, foreseeably to be a number 1 contender match. We'll stay away from all the rumors, speculation. Does Nebraska Power Slap like Dorian, this or that or not? I mean, winner is going to get a shot at the belt next. I think it's very safe to say the winner of this one is going to get the outcome. Zakir has come on the scene. He's been given every opportunity, to prove that he has what has what it takes to be able to ascend up the ranks and get a chance. And it's all led up to this particular moment. You can debate the merit, the strength of schedule to get here, to get this opportunity, the way and the fashion that he's won to get here. But he's here now, taking on Dorian Perez, who is a guy that pushed the bell as far as we've ever seen anybody push the bell. A guy that has an incredible chin, a guy that is as tough as nails, a guy that fights for free. I know you have to talk about his days back to street beef, but a guy that's been there, done this from day one, a ton of experience. We're going to find out, is Zakir Naimanbayev real or not? And this is really going to be the biggest testing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, you look at Dorian Perez, I think 90% of the fans will agree Dorian Perez has the greatest chin Power Slaps ever thought of seeing. On the flip side, you look at Zakir, and it's hard to almost believe, right? He starts Power Slap 9 against Troels Nielsen, knocks him out. Like you said, the speculation, the rumors, club, no club, that's not for us to litigate. The ruling was that he knocked him out. He won the fight. Fast forward June, Power Slap 13, he goes against Bryce Jones. Also, TKOs him. That is deemed illegal, which I don't disagree with at all. So he has a weird situation where they're like, hey, we brought you to America. Didn't exactly go your way, but there's something here, right? Because he obviously is able to put his opponents on their tail in a way that no other heavyweight we've ever seen does consistently. They say, hey, we'll turn you around in 3 weeks in New Orleans in the debut on the road in North America. He goes Power Slap 14 against Cooper Housley, does the same thing. TKO, Cooper Housley. The small little caveat, I thought Cooper smacked. I mean, I thought he looked different when Cooper hit him. I will say that, and I'll get back to that in a minute. But you consider that now in a calendar year, this is his 4th time competing. He's among one of the most active people we've ever seen, and he's a guy from the other side of the world. And I think, when you look at a guy like Dorian Perez, nobody has hurt this guy. I mean, even David DeBell, I think he wobbled him maybe once, and we're looking for such subtle nuances in both of these guys because of how great their chin is. It's incredible. It's not obvious at all. These guys aren't doing dances or anything. David DeBell takes a step back or turns his head a little more than usual, and we're like, oh, he got hit really hard. It's incredible, the kind of athletes that we're talking about. But when you look at what Dorian's brought to the table, Dorian also has knockouts in his own right. And like I said, when you think about Zakir, if you're being honest, you saw what his face looked like when Cooper Housley hit him. And I got to be honest, I agree with Dorian Perez here when he says he probably hits harder than Cooper Housley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this can be a phenomenal match. I think this literally could be that knockout of the night moment, I think. I mean, both these athletes have the ability to do it, which we've seen. And both these athletes, have the ability to turn into fight of the night. Well, we're going to see. Like you said, Cooper Housley did, make Zakir look different. And I think it's fairly safe to say, as you alluded to, that Dorian could hit harder than Cooper can. And we're going to see, has Zakir had this momentum time? I mean, if you looked at the training up until that match, like Zakir, redefined his strike going into New Orleans. But honestly, it looked like shit in training. Like, you could tell there wasn't the transfer of power, etc. Has he been putting in that time? Has he been able to learn to it? And I mean, it's like anything else. When you learn that new technique, it just takes a while for that mind and muscle connection, for the power to come later, the accuracy to come in. I mean, we didn't see that on full display. We've seen him resort back to some of the stuff that was old. Yes, debate merit, was it called, was it not, etc. But we didn't see him within his new strike that he was practicing performed on stage in those later rounds as the fight went along. And so we're going to kind of see how this all comes to fruition.
Yeah, you bring up a great point. Yeah. Actually, we caught up with Zakir at the after party at Caesars in New Orleans. Jeeves had a chance to talk to him, and what I remember him saying distinctly was that strike was uncomfortable for him. Mm-hmm. And he hadn't had, like you said, the opportunity or the amount of time that he would need to sort of make a maneuver like that feel more natural and more comfortable. And I think that'll be a question I have going into this match, because we all have seen you could sit there until you're blue in the face and train as much as you want, but putting your hands on a live person in front of you who's going to have some level of durability, and that'll vary depending on different people, I think it changes everything. And Dorian Perez is not a guy you want to go in there and play crash dummy with. He's not. Dorian Perez has been one of the top heavyweights in the world. He's had issues with fouling, I think, over time. But bar none, when it comes to durability, that's the face of durability in power slap. And I think on the flip side, Zakir has not been there yet. And I think that's the number one concern that I have here. Yeah. If I'm Zakir, I'm doing everything I can to get Dorian out of there as soon as I can, because you let that guy hit you more than once and you're in trouble.
For sure. The next match on it, Sheena Bathory versus Robin Weirchuk. Robin's going to be striking first. We've seen Robin last year in Abu Dhabi this time, so she's been around for a year. She's been sitting idle. It slips my mind who she faced.
Jackie
Cataline.
Yeah.
That's right, Jackie Cataline. Who actually Sheena's actually also faced as well. So there's
mutual opponent.
So the mutual opponent in this particular one. Robin, one of the biggest things that stood out to me is, and looking back and seeing what Robin did, is how carefree she was. How relaxed she was. The entertainment value that came, from her, and the skill set that she did. I mean, she showed her chin off as well in that particular match. And I mean, at that particular time, Jackie Cataline was a very feared opponent in power slap as well at that particular one, coming off the knockout of Sheena Bathory.
And then she beats Katarina Lehner.
Exactly. So she was a very, intimidating person at that time. So we're going to see. I mean, we're going to see, because they obviously Robin, coming from, Europe, and then we're going to see Sheena, who's been away for a little while. She's had an injury as well from competing, and training for MMA. We're going to see where she's at. She's been back in Hungary now for the better part of a year and a half. We don't know how much has she been training for this sport. We know she's been training, but do you recall seeing any slap training that she's been doing specifically?
No, I know she was just working on a movie or a reality series just a couple months ago. Obviously, she had the foot injury, so that's going to derail things. But to be perfectly honest with you, no, I don't think Sheena probably hasn't had a full training camp for this. Without getting too specific, I think we spoke to her somewhere in the realm of September, and this was on her radar. So yeah. I think she's probably had a little over a month of time notice to kind of make this all happen, and coming off of a gruesome injury like that, and then also, like I said, she had just gotten off a reality show. Probably not optimal circumstances, but if there's anybody that can do it, her name's Sheena Bathory. So.
For sure. And I mean, a lot of people don't know it either, but Sheena was actually in attendance in Abu Dhabi, was able to watch Robin up on stage. So she did see her compete before, well, obviously without knowing that she'd be facing her one day, but she at least has some experience of seeing her in person, and the physical presence that she brings, and it's gonna be interesting. I mean, we've seen the good of Sheena, and we've seen I'll say not so good, but the other, like, we've seen her be friendly, we've seen her be more mean. We're gonna see where she's gonna come in this one. I think Robin Weirchuk is someone that could bring out I think, a little bit more of a nasty Sheena Bathory in this particular match. I think it'll be entertaining for everybody.
It's an interesting take. I think, my number one issue is Robin's only done this one time. Mm-hmm. And Jackie Catalan's no slouch by any means, but she doesn't have the greatest record in power slap. She makes, I think, critical errors that cause her to be on the wrong side of these decisions. And but before the second Sheena fight, I think she was on a real pathway, and then she competed against Sheena. Then, of course, she competed against Abby Montez, and I think now she's trying to figure out kind of what's what and where she's going to fit in all this. But anybody getting Sheena Bathory after just one match is, man, that's a tough name to get on a contract.
100%.
And that match that she had was a year ago. So
100%.
I think all the odds are stacked against Robin, but I think, and we've seen this before, that makes for a hell of an underdog.
Absolutely. Another underdog, or should we say the dog, El Perro, opening up the main card, taking on Andrew Provost, a guy we haven't seen in a while, but still ranked number 5 at the welterweight division, taking on El Perro, number 2. Great matchup. Provost has been a guy he's been around. He's kind of been, on the tape cards. So a lot of people don't know who he is. He's been away for a little while.
He didn't compete last year at all or this year.
Correct. So
this is a guy coming back, man. And I mean, listen.
This guy's a fighter for a living too. Like, he is an MMA
he's an MMA
fighter.
He absolutely is a pro MMA fighter. I think there's a lot to be said for the evolution of the sport to this point. I know it's, anybody who's watching this that's not a power slap fan is gonna be like, dude, this guy's fucking a retard. But I just got us demonetized. It just took one, you see. But I mean, if you look at the guys in the early days versus the guys now, and the technique and the way that they kind of apply all of that stuff, it's very different. And so I think it's almost as if, I don't know if you've ever seen the show Manifest, but it's almost, they went into a plane. There were two. I'll make it fast. There were 2 planes. One was, they were both going to the same location. One was a couple hours after the other. They were moving people from the first plane to the second plane. People who got on the second plane got stuck in Bermuda, who knows, for 5 years. So when they got off the plane, it was 5 years later. People who got on the first plane it was regular. Andrew Provost is going to come off of the second plane, is what I'm getting at. Like, power slap is miles different than it was the last time he competed. Totally. And I think I'm curious who he's been attaching himself to, who he's been talking to, because this is all so much different. And Azael's been in the mix, in the thick of it. He's seen it as it's evolved, and he's walked around with it. Obviously, he came up short in his last match, but Anthony Blackburn is also a guy that represents that new age, that new era of power slap. Even though he was there from the beginning, I think evolution-wise, particularly with the lean, right, he's always been a guy that's gone on one. I really believe that he's a great figurehead for the evolution of the sport when you look at how it started to where it is now. I have those questions about Provost. That's not to say that he hasn't done that. I'm just curious who and what he's been doing to sort of prepare for what is the sport now.
Yeah.
On the flip side, I don't think Azael's changed dramatically from who he's been. I don't think his technique has gone, it's completely opposite. I think there's a lot of remnants of who he was in the beginning. I think the toughness is still there. The question is, are you going to be the same after you drop down a weight and you get your confidence shattered against a guy who puts you away now, when realistically, before this match, Anthony Blackburn wasn't known for putting people away.
Yeah.
So what are those questions going to do to Azael up there and his confidence? Whereas Provost is like, what do I have to lose? I'm just coming back. I haven't been here for a while. So I think that's an interesting one to keep an eye out for. And then, honestly, when you really look at it, man, welterweight is in disarray right now. There's not really a ton of contenders. I mean, name me 5 top 5 welterweights outside of the guys that are fighting.
Well, 2 of them are in the top 5, so they discounts 2 of them. But
yeah, so I'll give you 4. Azael, Andrew, Cole, and Blackburn. Name one more. Manny.
Yeah. But, Azael Rodriguez, it's funny because, he's been one of the more active fighters since power slap has started. It's probably now the 10th or 11th fight that he's, participating. And, I think everyone has wanted to see is, does the accumulation of damage after taking, once your chin has been cracked and you continue, does that diminish your game? And for some reason, Azael Rodriguez, we haven't seen that yet. He's actually gotten better with the experience that he's had, and he seemed to be more in control the longer or the more mature he's become here in power slap. So we haven't seen that diminishing return yet from him. But as you allude to, Andrew Provost, and then, you know, power slap moves so fast. The rules move so fast. Back when Provost fought, these guys were jumping with 2 feet in the air, slapping each other. Like, in reality, like...
with no measure.
Exactly. Like, the sport has progressed a long, long way. Like you said, you know, in Provost, you know, what's his motivation? What's his reason for coming back? Is this an easy paycheck for him? Or is he actually looking to try to, you know, put his name in the mix to try to climb these ranks again? We just don't know at this particular point because he has been away from... And even when he was here, he was always that guy that was kind of like, I don't even know, has he been on a live card?
I don't think so.
So that just kind of goes to, you know, to show you where he's been in this mix. I'm trying to think of even who the last opponent was that he fought. I was thinking like Alex Ashbury. Like, I'm trying to think, but I'm trying to think who it actually was, man. To be quite honest with you.
So let's get our handy then.
You know, so we're gonna see. We're gonna see where Provost kind of, you know, melts.
Provost fought Waylon.
Waylon Frost.
He beat Waylon by DQ,
okay.
I believe.
Okay.
That was in that was Power Slap 5.
Yeah, Waylon was in the mix too. Waylon just came back, didn't he?
He did. Waylon did.
What was the result of that one, man? That was two events ago now. I'm losing my mind, dude.
So no, it was not on a live card.
It was not,
him and
no?
Waylon. So yeah,
Okay.
You're right. He's been. Before that, he did fight Alex Asbury to a no contest. I don't remember that, but that was Power Slap 1 on the undercard, and then he was on the show.
Understood.
So I mean, goes from loses to Jewel Scott. No contest with Alex Asbury, which I'm assuming is a drug-related thing, at Power Slap 1.
Yeah.
And then Power Slap 5, he competes against Waylon Frost and wins by DQ. Not a guy, I mean, again, anything can happen, and I think that's the beautiful thing, and that's why us knuckleheads are sitting here doing this, but that's not the resume you want when you're taking on a guy like Isaiah Rodriguez. I'll just say that.
Absolutely.
And, you know, but again, on the flip side, what does that do to your confidence when nobody's been able to do this thing, and a guy that nobody expected to do this thing does this thing to you? It's immeasurable. And again, we've talked about this kind of like zombified second gear that Isaiah has. But the only way that works is the way that he absorbs strikes is so boisterous, it's so emphatic. Like, he kind of like goes down and then rises back up. Whereas if you look at some of the, like a Blackburn barely moves. He just stands there, you know, takes his lick, and then he starts cutting steak. I mean, it's
sure.
I think that part of it is also important. You know, if you can pile on that damage as he's you know, making that maneuver, meaning his body's not responding well to the strike. He's not just like, you know, a simple turn. He's like really having a full-blown response from his upper body. And I think if you can utilize that and sort of push through your opponent when that's their reaction or that's their defensive posture, you probably will have more success. And I think Anthony Blackburn figured that out.
For sure. Going on heavyweights, James Siegman, number 6 ranked, taking on newcomer Luis Robinson in power slap. Obviously, we talked about Luis having, you know, some experience in Brit slap. We're going to see how that level of competition stacks up against James Siegman. In a lot of ways, this is almost like an Aaron Turner versus Brian Ellis type of match. And I mean, it's hard to make those parallels, but I'm saying a guy that's ranked in the middle of the division, taking on a newcomer, are we going to see, can this newcomer come in and make waves and or not? James Siegman, from last we've heard, is actually put on about 20 pounds since the last time that we've seen him. I think when he came in around 217, 219-ish last time we've seen him up there.
219, I believe.
So apparently he's going to come in upwards of 235, 240 for this particular match. So kind of see him back to where he was before, and I think that's a much more dangerous James Siegman. I mean, he looked depleted. He looked like, you know, he didn't have the same dexterity that he did in the past when he was taking on Pono Pao. So seeing him add that additional weight, I think that, you know, he's going to be in a better place. And we're going to see, I mean, that chin has been cracked. Can he bounce back and get, you know, a shot in the win column? And in the interview that I had with him, he's like, count it, one and done. He is incredibly confident. He believes that it's only going to take one shot for James Siegman, which I believe he won the coin toss as well, to be able to put Luis away. He believes that there's levels to this. He believes that the experience that Luis has had in the past isn't going to measure up, and he believes he's going to be able to get him out very early and be able to have a quick payday.
I'll say one thing before, and then I have to get this out. And you guys know, we do this every week. I'm an asshole. It just has to happen. I will say James Siegman did win one fight that week. I think it qualifies as a win. He beat the Crazy Hawaiian on one leg. That did happen. So I do believe that he didn't walk away. He did only walk away with one check, but his pride was intact because he did avenge the loss to Pono Pao against the Crazy Hawaiian.
So he's on a win streak.
I think it was the second floor of the Circa, if I'm not mistaken. Now, back to my original point. I think what I'm interested here is the precedent setting. I want to know, is BritSlap as real as they say it is? Are these athletes, because if we know where these feeder leagues are going to come from and how real the talent they're going to develop is going to be, we can become more excited about the athletes that they cultivate and bring to us. And I think to this point, we haven't seen that. And obviously, last event, we saw a little bit of SlapFIGHT Championship. Jujhar Singh, big name that came out of there, obviously had an incredible night. But that wasn't the case for everybody, right? His name is Pardeep Huda, competed against Anthony DeFrank. That match ended in a draw. Pretty uneventful. I mean, he rocked DeFrank pretty well, but again, that division is kind of in pieces is not the right word, but it's undefined. We'll say it's a gender euphoric division at the moment. They're, kind of trying to figure out what's going to happen with 55, and I think Zhao and Muhammad are going to be two interesting prospects in that division.
Yeah.
But somebody's got to lose. So you realistically only get one out of this whole thing, unless you're going to have a second person who's going to take out everybody else. But that division's already kind of eating its own tail. So I'm interested in the developmental side. Is Lewis Robinson, as a representative of BritSlap, as a heavyweight champion there, is he really as real as they say he is? They call him the Razor. Obviously James Siegman's the Iron Chin. There's something to be said, I think, for... I mean, James Siegman said he was going to knock Nate Bernard out. Didn't happen. Didn't even drop him. So, I mean, I appreciate the confidence, but I want to be a little bit more realistic about what these guys are saying versus what's actually happening. Because there's been so many people who have been on the sideline, and they come and they're like, my next opponent's down and one. Then the next opponent comes and they lose a decision or they get knocked out. And I'd like to see if this guy's real. First things first. I want to know, can you take a shot from James Siegman? Because realistically, the last couple guys that taking shots from James Siegman have been just fine. He came off the show, he had a lot of hype behind him, but realistically, it hasn't translated for him recently, over the last year or so. I need to see that moment before I really buy, what James Siegman's selling. I mean that with all due respect. What he's saying I want to see come true. Or on the flip side, BritSlap's really developing talent, and their heavyweight champion's a real guy. Perfect. Develop more talent and bring us more people, because I want to see it.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to see it unfold for sure. This is a match you're definitely going to want to tune into. Obviously, every time you have implications in that heavyweight division, I think it's exciting. I mean, heavyweight division is probably the deepest division right now, I think, in all of Power Slap. And if you can add new talent into it and/or solidify guys like James Siegman, get him back in the mold, and kind of push towards a guy like Nate Bernard, etc. I mean, to compare Lewis Robinson to Nate Bernard is a bit of a stretch at this particular moment, but we'll see. I mean, Nate's continuing to show that he's still a fixture in the top of the division as he goes forward here. So obviously taking care of Aaron Turner most recently. But you talked on Zhao, you talked about Muhammad, you talked about the 155 division. I mean, the international expansion kind of makes sense. I mean, when we look at it this way, I mean, we're getting guys from that part of the world. I'm not going to make a blanket statement per se, but, I think in the UFC, I think a lot of the Asians compete in some of the lighter weight classes. Retrospectively, makes sense. Obviously, Zhao coming in. Dana White went to China, seen Zhao, put on a display of strength for him, and he was impressed enough and able to convince him to join Power Slap. Now we're seeing it happen in Saudi Arabia, and we're seeing Muhammad come from, is it Kazakhstan? Is that where he's from?
Muhammad, I believe so.
Yeah, so I think he's from Kazakhstan as well. So we're going to see these two athletes, international athletes, could inevitably, Robert Trujillo could face someone from overseas, someone that he knows nothing about, which could be an interesting prospect here as we kind of evolve, because we're not really getting, the development of that division yet. I mean, Vince Tracy, Andrew Fields obviously was supposed to happen for Power Slap number 16 and 155. It didn't happen. Both guys came in around that 162 mark. Did Vince do enough to, qualify at 155 to get a chance at Robert Trujillo? Maybe. But we're going to see these two guys have an opportunity to come in and skyrocket up. I mean, it could be, foreseeable. If there's a big knockout here, they could give Zhao or Muhammad Robert Trujillo, because, I mean, who else is standing in the way? We're talking Vince Tracy, a guy who's never fought in the division, as being the gatekeeper. Right. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Joshua Bovere, I mean, seemingly, still MIA at this particular point. So, who else is really there? Riley Montoya, I guess. I mean, nobody knows what the status of Riley is at this moment either. So,
well, he got the offer in, I believe, July, and he said no.
Correct. So what does that mean? I don't know. Has time changed? Would he take it now? Who knows? So I think we could see a fast track to Robert here, and we'll see. Zhao, I think, in a low key way, Zhao is representing China on a bigger scale as well. I think it means a lot, to the martial art that he has. I mean, because you got to realize, Chinese and their martial arts, very prideful. They're very prideful people in general, but then prideful about their martial arts and what that means. And I mean, he's really going to be representing for that entire culture and that segment of the martial art that he that he represents. And so I think there's a lot riding on the shoulder. And should he become victorious, I think this actually is probably the best thing for Power Slap, to turn on that Chinese market to Power Slap. Would put this thing on a rocket ship on NOS and steroids, and would be going on the moon should this happen in an emphatic way. And I think he's got a great chance. I'm not sure the age of these two athletes. He does look to be
both very young.
Very young, yeah. I thought Zhao was 35.
He might be older, yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I think Zhao looks more mature.
Muhammad looks like he's probably 23 years old.
Yeah, so I think Zhao is more, more mature.
Muhammad's 25.
So 25, 35, I think.
Zhao is 35.
Yeah, so 10 years difference. So makes sense in this one, and we're going to kind of see it unfold. But
yeah, I mean, Zhao's got all the confidence in the world. In his interview that you did with him, he said something to the effect of, I've been slapping watermelons and making them explode. October 31st, you, meaning Muhammad, are the watermelon, and if you don't explode, I'll just break you. That's some pretty fucking crazy shit to say in another language to somebody who doesn't understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
and listen, like I said, I love it, but I got to see it.
Yeah. And then honestly, man, I hope, I was following along the stories of Muhammad when he was doing his strike for the TV camera. I pray to God for him he's got a different strike come fight night, because I'll tell you, it wasn't looking too good. That's all I'll say.
I didn't see that. So
you didn't see that? Yeah, it was looking very, I don't know, Alan Klingbeil-ish with about 10% of the power that Alan brings. So
I mean, listen, 25 years, there's a lot to be said for you. I think at a certain age, people will argue what that age is, but you kind of grow into that grown man strength, if you will. I don't think 25 is quite that age. So
yeah,
listen, anything can happen. And I think Zhao was very wise to say in his interview, the number one thing is that I got to be able to take what he's dishing. Because he may strike first, and lo and behold, would he have it? He is striking first. So
absolutely,
he meaning Muhammad. So he will have to figure out how to withstand.
Yeah. Some guys that we forgot to mention: Brian the Predator Ellis and Ro Montagna. Match that we haven't even talked about up to this point. Heavyweights, second match of the night for the live card. Ro coming off a loss. Brian Ellis coming off a victory, I believe, his last.
He
lost his last match? Yeah. All right, so Brian Ellis.
He's been out for a while. He was scheduled to, I don't know if this is public, but it'll be public now. I believe he was scheduled to face Cody Ogg. I want to say at 13, it was 4-14. Then Cody got switched to, somebody got moved. Cody had an opponent.
Turner. No, it wasn't Turner. No.
Cody.
No, Ro. Was Ro Montagna? Because Ro filled
in.
So
Cody was supposed to take on Ro.
Yes.
Nate gets sick. Ro goes up to Aaron. Cody's left out in the cold. I don't think we really ever talked about that, Cody. On behalf of us two, which is nobody, sorry. But
he got a payday to show up in the vacation NOLA, so why not?
But so that match didn't end up happening. So I'm not sure why that fell through in the first place, right? Like I said, Brian was the original opponent. It ended up not going that way. Fast forward now, Brian gets the call for Ro, which is weird because Ro was the mutual opponent.
Sure.
It was weird. It was him and Cody, then it was Cody and Ro, and then now it's Ro and Brian. And none of the three have faced each other yet. So hopefully this match is going to go as planned. I got to be honest, because we've seen this happen, where siblings mirror each other. He's got his younger brother on the card, Huli, who was at the camp with him back in May. Both students of Sin Bodhi as wrestlers in Las Vegas. I can't help but believe, and just based on what we've seen in the past, right, with the Bordeaux's, I'm trying to think of other examples. The Thomases. If your sibling has a bad night, so far, you've had a bad night too, man. And so I think a lot of this is going to rest on what happens to his brother on the early card in the tape prelims. When you look at the experience, Ro Montagna is now having his third match in, since June. So we're looking at 4 months. That's a hell of activity. He won one at super, so we know he's got quite a bit of durability. He lost one at heavyweight against a guy that, took Brian Ellis out. So I think this will kind of give us a better idea where Rose at in the division. But again, that wild card, man, I can't help but wonder if you see your brother or your sister in some cases laying on the mat, hurt, they just got knocked out, whatever the case is, what that does to you mentally as somebody who's preparing to compete, I wouldn't think it's a good thing. So I think a lot of this is going to have to do with what happens to his brother.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Ellis, power slap number 6, Durango. Do me a favor and pull up who he fought. But I mean, Brian Ellis came into that at that particular time, and he was a superstar. Like, he had that superstar look. He was a new recruit that power slap really wanted, but Dorian Perez. And did he win by disqualification, that one? Or
he did, but then it got turned over.
Okay, understood. So, at that particular moment, I mean, he was almost the face of the division. Like, he had the look, he had that rapper look, he had the braids, he wore the shades, he looked the part.
He was a big guy.
He was a big guy. And, now, Brian Ellis, the guy obviously who's, came into some losses, can he be resurrected to be that guy that brings that complete package? We know Roman Tanya is a guy that's incredibly durable, a chin and a head that's, is built like a cinder block. A guy that now, power slap, I can't say admittedly, but a guy that we know is seemingly, you said, with his activity, they love his personality. And I'm going to say they love him by saying, what their social is doing, and they project Ro in a very good way. The mariachi dance, they lean into it. The publicity that they do with him, the interviews he's doing, also now in Spanish and everything else. Like, I think they see Roman Tanya in the same light that they see Brian Ellis at power slap number 6. I know it's just a long way to say that. It was like, this was the look the guy before, and this is the look the guy now. Yeah. It's the kind of the future and the past. And I think both these guys, the winner of this could be the new guy again in a lot of ways. And it's just different look, different style, different market, etc. But I think both these guys have those, opportunities that bring more of a complete package. And I think these are guys that they want to have in the division. And seeing how this goes, it's not going to be easy night for Brian Ellis. Let's just put it that way. Roman Tanya is going to push him. Roman Tanya is going to be around for round after round. And we're going to see, has Brian Ellis put in the work? Has he been able to refine his craft to be able to find a new level to his game? Because I think he's going to need to find another level to be able to put away Roman Tanya, a guy who's been incredibly active, like you said, and a guy that's been incredibly hungry. So we're going to see how this goes.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that Mexican fighting spirit if you've ever seen it. And I think, to your point, man, if they can identify who those sort of figurehead athletes are going to be for different markets, I think what they call Mariachi Montaña, which is both the brothers, Julian Ro. I think those are great figureheads to tandem with guys like Azael, female athletes like Abby Montez to sort of pioneer that Mexican.
Who else, buddy? You're forgetting somebody.
Dorian.
Oh, come on. Your biggest fan. Mexican, come on.
Like truly Mexican or like Mexican American?
San Diego.
Azael? I said Azael.
No, your biggest fan.
Prince?
Yes, Esteban.
That's his nephew. But I mean,
but you have to say him.
Yeah, but he's not.
He's the first one in the comments. He's the first one in the comments telling you that he's the representative of Mexico. Come on, buddy. I'm saving you here. Esteban Prince, he's your biggest fan. Don't worry. He just doesn't want to admit it publicly. Come on. I'm saving you the wrath of Prince.
See, I was wondering if you were going like with Robert Shahir or something. But these guys are Mexican American. I'm thinking, I don't. So
what do you call Rob? Fucking Tex-Mex? Like
no, when I don't even acknowledge Robert Trujillo as Mexican, dude.
Yeah, because he doesn't say his name properly.
He's like a New Mexico kind of guy. It's just a little different, but I think I think that those layers are important. But if you ask Dorian Perez will say he's American. So
100%.
I think you got to be able to differentiate. Azael Rodriguez has incredible lineage and pride there. I don't think I've ever heard Esteban talk about being a Mexican athlete. That doesn't change the fact that he might be. I'm just saying when it comes to representation, I've never seen or heard that. And if he has, and I've never seen or heard that, and I apologize. But Abby Montez, obviously,
Dude, she's straight Mexican, dude. There's no around it, man. She's living in Tijuana half the year, buddy.
And then you got the Mariachi brothers who represented through their wrestling consistently, and
what's the other girl? Chicago. Cody Young connection. Marisol, yeah.
Yo, what a way to get to that name. Holy shit.
How else was I going to do it, man?
God, we're not live. We can cut some of this stuff out. Holy shit. We're not going to cut any of it out. Cause we'd have to watch it to get to that point. We're in Nashville. It's fucking 1:30 in the morning on Wednesday. Like, you guys are seeing this. It's probably 10 o'clock your time if you're on the East, 7 o'clock if you're on the West, and we're fucking sitting here at 1:30 in the morning recording this live show.
100%.
But we got one more match.
Karubi. Did I say his name?
Kabiru.
And
from Nigeria, and he's facing Daniar. His last name I actually missed. It starts with an S. Sharikov,
yeah. Sounds about right.
Shakarov.
Sounds good.
We'll go with that. So this is Nigeria versus Kazakhstan. I feel bad because I'm kind of being unfair, but remember that Awa Jashel, they called him the Hulk?
Yeah.
They also call Kabiru the Hulk.
Against West Minna.
So I just feel like he's kind of being set up for failure, but that's a big fucking guy. Mm-hmm. Let's just call that what it is. I mean, he's a massive guy, whereas Daniar looks like a bigger guy, but not as... they don't understand what I'm saying, so it doesn't matter. But he doesn't look quite as athletic. He's not as chiseled, but he's a big dude. And these guys are going out at heavyweight. This was originally supposed to take place last week, Power Slap 16. Visa issues in Nigeria led us to now they're doing it here in Saudi Arabia on October 31st. Kabiru's there, so we know that in theory this match is going to happen. Mm-hmm. I don't know why they put this on the main card, on the live card. Like, I don't hate it. I'm not upset, but why? They're new. Mm-hmm. There's guys who have experience on the undercard. I'm just curious. You know, they must know something we don't. You could have Bryce Jones, Ryan Kenny on the live card opening up. Jaco and Dennis were originally supposed to be opening the card. They're now moved to the pre-recordings. Mirza, Pavel Horelikin. Those guys, Pavel has fought for SFC. Mirza obviously has done this before.
He's had some experience.
That's my question. And again, I think from the outside looking in, we're all just kind of, the only conclusion we can draw is really they know something we don't. So hopefully we see it.
But could it be that international expansion? Because, I mean, where's Daniar from? He's from that region of Kazakhstan as well?
Yeah.
So, I mean, could it be just to try to get that international
You got Zakir
presence?
already. And you got Muhammad. Was this a fucking Kazakhstan show?
I don't know, dude.
Tim's just doing such a great job, goddammit.
I don't know, man. I mean, we got the Indian expansion.
KO Nation.
We have another Singh coming along in the undercard as well.
Yeah, you got Gurpreet Singh.
Are you sure it's not the same guy just going back-to-back week, man?
No, you have two Singhs. You got Gurpreet Singh and then you got Jaskaran Singh.
All right.
And so those.
And who was the guy last week, Singh? Tiger Singh.
That was Jujar. You better never forget his fucking name. That guy went more viral than anything we ever. This dude got more views in a day than we've gotten in fucking 3 years, bro. By triple. I mean, this.
Look at that, man. We got three Singhs, man.
Say his name for me. Jujar Singh. And what's the hashtag?
Tiger.
No, the hashtag that you said. You said you liked the hashtag. It was Singh is King.
Singh is King.
So you better get a shirt now. You own. Right. For those of you who don't know, print on demand business. Singh is King. Hashtag Singh is King. And that's what we're rolling with because Singh is fucking king, man.
Yeah.
Put some respect on his name.
Absolutely.
He's another guy. But so you said earlier, and I didn't want to get you for it, but I'm gonna get you for it now because we're dressing down a little bit. You said Ellis or Rowe, one of those guys, could be right in there. I completely disagree. Heavyweight is the deepest fucking division there is. I think no matter who wins here, these guys got quite the ladder to climb. I mean, you got, let's just name a few. Pono, Wes, James.
Sure, but it makes them relevant, at
Jujar, Nate, Dorian, Zakir. There's a lot of fucking people,
You're putting Jujar in there already?
Yeah,
after one victory?
Dude, he's earned it.
After one victory?
Dude, this guy blew.
Dude, he's 219 pounds.
All right, so check this out. The only person that you can compare him to when it comes to ballooning their followership is Michael Michelle Brown. How in the fuck? I mean, put him next to Michael Michelle Brown. For him to balloon up like that, this guy's special. I mean, and I loved all of it.
Maybe he's a Bollywood star. We don't even know.
I loved him getting hit and he's fucking doing this to his fucking mustache.
Yeah.
I loved it when he's fucking standing there and he's like blinking and he's going like this. didn't even move. Dude just gets whacked right in the eye, and he's going like this, and he just stands there, and he's like, did it.
What about the dancing?
And then he's dancing.
Like the
I love the
one leg dance.
Dude, it's my favorite. And then
so
he's
if he ever comes to America, can you dance with him?
Absolutely, I will. He's fucking going like this, and then he's like humping.
Will you do the hump as well?
It was incredible. I loved it, man. I loved it. And you know what? I got to be honest here.
Yeah.
Culturally, all of that stuff is very interesting. Right? Obviously, he comes out in the turban. He dresses the turban down, has the, I don't want to mess up any terms or anything, so I won't even name it, but he has something covering like the top of the head, competes with that on, and then, the traditional Indian, I mean, the whole thing was just fucking bananas, man. And then he's got who was it? I feel like Nina had somebody of Indian descent, like, on the little like watch along she does.
Oh, really?
Fuck, who was it? I feel like they just posted it.
I'm not sure, dude.
I don't remember, but I feel like it was. Yeah, whatever. I mean, listen, the guy fucking ballooned overnight. I gotta respect it. He's hustling, and if you watch the broadcast, Michael Bisping, Dan Hellie said he alluded to some idea that like if he won, he would become famous in his country. I don't know if 39,000 followers is famous, but it is quite the fucking increase. I mean, it's a 39,000% increase from what he was before.
Yeah.
And he didn't even get a knockout. That's fucking crazy. It's the biggest move we've ever seen. And if this is any indication of how India rides for their people, Powers Up India, here we come.
Let's go.
Anyway, Kabiru and Denier.
Yeah. So we'll see,
Listen,
man.
they're big guys. I'm just, why are they on the live card?
Yeah.
Somebody knows something we don't know, and I want to know what it is. It might be Tim, honestly. It could just be Magnet, dude.
Sure.
I don't know.
We'll find out.
I don't know. Fucking 3 Kazakhs on a live card out of 8 fights, that's bananas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the beauty of Power Slap. Keeps on rolling on. We still even have the rumor of Power Slap number 18 in December. So if you made it this far along, there's a little alpha for you. We appreciate you, as always, breaking down the Power Slap 17 card. Myself and Ding. This episode is brought to you by Headrush. We have the promo code SLAP_news.
Always kidding us out.
Absolutely.
I got Headrush underwear on. I can't show you, though. But.
Wrong show. Tune in. OnlyFans live 30 minutes from now.
Jesus Christ.
Or else.